Okay, now you see, we'll start from the beginning. How to start that? How to start CATIA? How to go to part design? Start mechanical design, part design, right? Now, for creating a 2D sketch, selecting this plane, right? Let's say, for example, and going to sketch. It'll open the sketch environment, right? Now, you see, we'll draw this exercise. This is the sketch we want to draw. Now, you see, you can take, I'm going to take this origin, okay, as this point. Where is it? This point. Your origin should be the point wherein you have maximum dimensions reference. Okay, you can use any point. You can even create it here, no issues. But I'm taking this point as the origin. So let us start from here. There is a circle, right? And you can follow this procedure. You can follow any other procedure also. Like for example, he's creating the bigger circle, smaller, and then he's creating these bitangent lines, and then he's removing this portion, middle portion, and then drawing the circles. So you can draw the lines at the last, right? Circles at the beginning. Okay, we can follow any procedure. Let us follow this procedure. Okay, there are many ways to do the same thing. Now let us create that circle. You go to here, here you see circle. All those profile tab you see here will have the standard geometries, entities. Okay, you see here, as and when I am moving to that origin, you see that dot inside the circle that indicates we are at the origin. Okay, so once you are there, because he is asking for select a point or click to define the center, so we have to define the center point. We have said that we'll take this origin as a center point for that circle. Now once that dot inside the circle appears, you click and you move out, right, to draw a circle. Let us keep it randomly here. Okay, and then we will give the dimensions, right? Escape to come out of that. Now let us draw another circle and give dimensions. Okay, we'll give them give the dimensions at once. You see that circle, another circle is on the same what do you call, the centers are in the same line, right? So I'm using this horizontal axis, okay, as my reference and going there. You see that blue line, it is tracking that, right? If you drop it anywhere, you can even dimension and that will come back here. But in order to save time, let us use this snapping, right? So that we have it on the line, on that horizontal line, horizontal axis. Okay, so center, place it there, right, randomly, escape. Now you see here there are different options. Fit all in, so that will fit the view. This is for pan, right? You can move the sketch. This is for rotating it, right? This is not important as for your sketch, but important when it comes to 3D, right? So now another thing, zoom in, zoom out, very common. And this fit normal view. This is important when you have gone out of view, right? Out of that normal view of your 2D sketch. You see that normal view will fit it normal to your screen, right? There are different combinations for zoom in, zoom out, and rotating also. Instead of coming here and clicking, you can either in my system the combination is middle scroll button, right, and right click, both at the same time. You click, scroll button, and right click at once, move it, so you can move that, you can rotate, right? So that is I don't know what is the combination. We can change the settings. Okay, we can define different shortcuts. Like for example, in AutoCAD we have scroll for zoom in, zoom out, right? Here we don't have that. We can set it in settings. Normal view again. Here you see at the bottom, is it there? If it is not there, you see, if you can right click and switch on these, whichever are not on: constraint, measure, operation, profile, right? If they are not on, you can switch them on. right? And they will appear there. You can drag them out also like this, right? Because many would be hiding down here, right? Because you have a, what do you call, a line of these toolbars. Some of them will be down here, so you can use that drag handle to take it out and then take it back again, right? Otherwise they'll appear in between here. So you can keep it here or you can push it here, drag it down here, click and drag it down here like that. Let us keep it here. Fit view. Clear so far? What? Line is not moving. For the you click on circle. Have you clicked on circle? Not that circle. I mean the circle option. Yes. Click. Come here. Yes. Use that right line as a reference. Go to the right. No. Don't click it there itself. You can have some distance, right? Click on the circle again. Go there. Now you come to the right. Right. Place it. When it is appearing blue, you click. Place it randomly. You just have to click. Okay, don't drag it. Click and click. That's how it works. Okay. Now you see. Now we'll give the dimensions. Why is it necessary to give the dimensions? Basically constraining it, right? You can understand it this way. Dimensioning it is constraining it. You are fixing it. Because what will happen otherwise is, if you are creating features out of this, for example, I have not defined what is the center point of this circle from this point, okay, origin. And now later on, I will create another rectangle maybe here or circle, and I will define the distance between that circle. What do you call? Let me draw that so you can have clarity. Okay. You see, I've drawn another circle. Now, I have not dimensioned it earlier. Now what I am doing is I am giving distance between these two, right? Problem is, because this is not fixed, okay, this dimension will not help this. If I can move, you see, I'm able to move it, right? So this the giving of this dimension was not helpful, right? You see, the relationship between entities is there when you are constraining it, right? So you fix it so that other entities which are to come later will be defined based on that. You define based on what is fixed, right? And not which is relative. So this is moving in space. I cannot use this to define any other entity like that. So let me delete that circle, not required. Click on the circle, delete, right? That's simple. Now we are giving constraint, okay? Click on that, okay? You just click there, constraint, come here, click on the circle, move out, right? Place it, right? It is placed, but I want to modify it, right? What is my dimension as per the drawing? Outside 40 radius, right? Outside circle it is that we are drawing. So what was it? 45? 40, right? Don't remember it. 40 radius was it diameter? 40 radius, right? So you say 40. You can either specify radius or diameter, right? Radius 40, okay, you say. Now you see it has changed the dimension, right? Now we'll constrain this also, dimension it basically. Click on the circle, come outside anywhere, click it, place it, right? Double click. What is the dimension? Outside circle, radius 20, right? So radius is selected already. Let us keep 20. You say okay. Now you see one is appearing green, other is appearing white. Observe. Isn't it? One circle is appearing green. This circle is appearing white. We have given dimensions to both, right? Then you see green means it is fully constrained. Okay, fully defined. Have you given the dimensions? I don't know what is. Try to drag that circle outside. Click on the circle and drag outside. Here. Outside. You have not defined it based on the origin. I'll show you. Wait. You see, or meanwhile, what you can do is, yes, pay attention now. You see, why is this appearing green? Why is this appearing white? Although we have given dimension to both. Yes. You see, we have given dimensional constraint, right? There is also position constraint. You see, the position of this circle is what? Origin, right? The position of this circle is origin. So position is also defined for this one. For this one, we have defined vertically, like it cannot move up and down. You see, why? Because we have taken this horizontal axis as the reference, but it can move like this because we have not defined what is the position here. So we have to define that. Only then this will turn green, right? Fully constrained. So constraint, take the center point of this one, basically the origin. Click, double click to edit. How much is it? 130. You say 130. Okay. Now it has turned green, right? This circle has also turned green. Now you see. Now what? Now we'll try draw those bitangent lines. Okay. You can draw a normal line, right? You can draw a normal line and make it tangent, or you can directly use bitangent line. Where is it? Here you see in line, in every option you have a drop down. You see. So when you go to that that symbol, that arrow will come. When that arrow comes, you click. It will give you all the other options in line. Okay. Normal line, infinite line, bitangent line, right? That's what we want. A line which is tangent to two entities. So you click on bitangent line, right? You should click on this circle, right? It is tangent to this and also tangent to this. It will create a line. Okay, a line which is tangent to both. Same procedure again. You can directly click here or go again bitangent line, right? And say this circle and this circle. Okay, it will create a bitangent line. In this line option, you have that bitangent line. Okay. Right now, we will trim this inside portion. You see here, portion of the sketch to be removed. Basically, this portion we want to remove inside one. How to remove? We'll use trim. Where is trim? Here you see, trim is there. In drop down, you click. All these options are there. Just in trim, break, quick trim. This one is the most popular. Quick trim. That is a rubber-like symbol, right? What you have to do is you have to come inside this circle, right? When we are clicking this circle, what it will do is it will search for boundaries. Wherever it has a boundary, for example, the circle is going here and meeting here, right? So it will delete up to here. Another boundary is here. So if I click inside, this total circle which is up until here will be deleted. You see all this arc. Click on that circle, deleted, right? Now another same will trim here also. This portion. Done. We have trimmed the inside portion. Now what? Now drawing of those two circles, right, which are inside. Same thing, circle, click on the center point, move outside, place it anywhere randomly, another circle, center point, move outside, right? Now we'll dimension them. Dimension constraint, click on the circle, move outside. What is the radius or diameter given? Diameter 45 is given. So I'll double click this, change it to diameter, say 45. right? Okay, done. Similarly, constraint, come to this circle, right? Place it here, double click. What is it? 20 diameter. Diameter 20. You say okay. Done. We need not to define the position of it. Why? Because you see, I have taken the center point as what? The same center point of the previous circle, right? Understand? We have defined the position of that point, this circle center point to be 130. And the smaller circle is also having the same center, isn't it? So that position was already defined for the point which where you started the smaller circle. Here also same thing. That is the origin. No need to have an explanation for that, isn't it? You can drag those dimensions and place them wherever you want. Okay, as per your convenience, right? Doubts so far? Yes. No, have you clicked on reference here? You see, when you're dimensioning, if I click here, place it there, double click, is it on reference? Check. I'll delete this. Yes, now we will drag this sketch, right, to the third dimension. The sketch is done, right? Completely constrained. You can see green. Now you exit out of the sketch, right? Before applying that drag or pad option, what we will do is we'll exit. You see here, exit workbench. Exit workbench, able to see? Right? Click on exit workbench. It will come out of the sketch environment, right? And now we have to drag it in the third direction. How? You see here, pad feature. You click on the feature. This dialog box will open. It will ask you what is the length of this drag. Thickness basically, right? 20 mm let us keep. It is not given in the manual. Let us keep it 20 mm. Okay, arbitrary. Now you say okay. Right? Click anywhere outside. Right? You can rotate to look at how the model, how is it looking from different angles. Right? Clear? Right? You can pan it. Sorry, fit view, pan it. Yes, now you see, we'll create another component, okay, another simple component, and we will assemble these both. So let us create another new component, but before that you save it. File, save, you specify a name, okay, maybe part 1 and say bracket, okay, and you say save it. We'll update the link. Okay, it is part 1 is having more names, that is why. Now you see file, new, part, okay, you say okay, right? Give a name, maybe base, right? You say okay. Another new file opened, right? Same procedure. Select the plane, right? Select the plane, go to sketch, right? Select the plane, go to sketch, circle, right? Take the origin as the reference. Click there, move outside, right? Now let us give dimension to this circle. Constraint, select the circle, take it to be of, let's say 100 diameter. You say okay. Okay. Now that's all. Now we'll exit the workbench. We'll drag it in the third direction using pad. Length, maybe 30 mm. Okay. You say okay. Okay. Now you see, we'll use this surface, okay, to create another sketch. How? click on the surface, go to sketch. Just as we have selected a plane, we can use a surface also as a plane. Huh? Pad, let us take 30 mm. Okay. Now you see I've clicked on a surface, I've clicked on sketch. So it has started sketching on that surface, right? Taking that as a plane basically. Now we'll draw another circle, right? From the origin. Let us give dimension of, let's say 50. Double click, say 50. You say okay. Not 50, you see, we'll try to insert it here, the bracket, okay? We'll assemble the bracket and base, right? So let us take this circle's diameter. What is it? 45. So double click, you can say 45, right? And you say okay. Following, draw a circle of 45 diameter. Now you can say exit workbench. Now we'll say pad, right? Let us take maybe 50 mm. Okay, you say okay, right? That feature, right? Using pad feature, we have created this base part. Okay, clear so far? Right? Now save this also, save base, right? Part 2 base. Okay, or you can just say part base. Save it, right? Now we'll do the assembly. 2 individual parts are done. Now we'll start the assembly. How? You can go to start, mechanical design, assembly design. Okay, click on assembly design. All the assembly tools will be activated. You see, if they are not, you can drag them from here like that. Okay, they'll be hiding here. If they are not at all available, you can right click and click on this constraint, right? All those to switch them on. Okay, now you see, we'll call the parts one by one. Okay, let us start with the base part. You see here existing component, right? Existing component, you click, double click on this product. It will open the window to select. What was our first one? Base, right? Where did I save it? Here, right? Part base, right? This is what we created just now. Let us call the base part first. Open, right? It is opening the base part. Right now, we'll fix this component. How? You see here, fix component. This is a constraint dialog box. You click on fix component. Click on this component. He's asking which, select the component to be fixed. This one, right? You say, you see that fix symbol has come, right? Anchor. We have fixed it. Now we'll call another component. How? Same. Existing component, click on the product, this, double click here. And what was it? Part 1 bracket, right? Open it. Now you see it has come and sit there because the origins of both two are similar. So we'll drag it outside randomly using this handle. Okay, take that handle to the part. Okay, and now you can either rotate it, right, and drag it also like that. Once you are done, because you just wanted to move them apart, right? That's all. Arbitrary in space. You see, arbitrary, we have moved them apart randomly. Now I'll take this handle, I'll take it there. Okay, now we have to define relation between these two entities. We have fixed it, right? That is the first constraint we applied. Now I'll try to make this inline. I'll try to coincide this axis of the base part and the axis of this bracket to be in the same line. How? You see here, this is the constraint defining dialog box. First one is coincidence constraint. You click on it. He's asking for select the first geometric element of the coincidence constraint. We can select the axis. You see when that axis appears, click on that axis. That is the first. He's asking for second geometric element. So let us select this axis now. Selected. Now you see that symbol has come, coincidence, constraint, but they are still not in line. So what you have to do is update all, or you can press Control U. You see that is a shortcut, right? You can either press this button or Control U. So now you see they have come in line, right? The axis of that base part and the axis of the bracket are now in coincidence. Another constraint we'll apply, we'll say that this surface of this bracket should come and sit here. Okay, here. How? You see here contact constraint. Click on contact constraint. He's asking for select first geometric element of the contact constraint. All these options there are there. They are there. Okay, plane, cylinder. Let us take this surface and another surface of this bracket. Okay, this one. So he's asking for second geometric element. Click there. That you see the option has come. Contact constraint. You say update. Right? Contact constraint has been applied. So we applied three constraints basically. First one is that fixing of the base part. Second one was coincidence constraint. And the last one was contact constraint. Right? That's all. This is your assembly. You can save the assembly. Right? Save. Right? Product to assembly. Right? Save it. Doubts? Yes?